Welcome back to Grahamstown. I was chatting to one of the organisers just a short while ago. You can probably see behind me all these posters, there are many. And she was telling me that if you had to watch every production back to back, it would take you a week short of 9 months. So it just gives you an idea how much there actually is to see. But Leanne, I must just say that this year the program, as you said, extremely strong, but it's a numbers game this year. This festival, 40 years old, Standard Bank Young Artist Award winners, been involved 30 years, and numbers, and of course 20 years of democracy, very important for this year because that's a thread and a theme that runs through the program. I've got with me this morning renowned director, playwright, award winner. He's shy about the award-winning business. He doesn't want to talk about it. Brett Bailey. Brett, good morning. Thanks for joining us on Morning Live. As I said, the program, 20 Years of Democracy, you were involved in compiling some of this. You're on the committee, you worked with Ismail Mohammed. How did you approach it this year?
We looked at, as you say, the series of anniversaries, and we came up with a theme, creation of the nation. It's the creation of a nation, but it's also the creative products of a nation, the creative arts. And we looked at different things. You know, what are we celebrating? What is, in the last 20 years, in the last 40 years, what is there to celebrate? What is there to reflect on? What are the horrors of apartheid, the atrocities of apartheid? How did the arts deal with that? How did they tell the stories of our emerging democracy and of the state of torture before that? How did they shape the nation itself? Who are the people that our laureates? Who should we be really putting up there? So it's really a whole lot of different aspects of what's taken place in the last 40 years as articulated by the artists in South Africa, particularly those that have performed at the National Arts Festival, and how do we reflect on that?
And I saw, Brett, there was also some current stuff. I was paging through the program. I saw the Marokana musical. How involved is the program with stuff that happened, say, this year, news events that have taken place in the last few years?
It's up to the artists that create the stuff. I think the Marokana musical is going to be very interesting. Paul Grootboom has also brought out a piece called Protest, which is about our right to protest. The Think Fest program, which is really a lot of people talking about issues that affect us in a day-to-day life and in a wider frame, are also looking at where do we go from here into the future in terms of creating the kind of democracy we want to live in, and again, what are we reflecting on?
When you were looking through what to put on the program, were you spoiled for choice, or how did it work? Or stuff you had to throw out, or did everything make it?
No, look, there's always stuff you have to throw out. I'm on the drama committee, and we get about 100 or 150 applications, and we have to choose about 15 or 20 of those. So, yeah, it's always difficult to make these choices.
Now, Brett, I know you've travelled extensively overseas. You've won many awards. I know you don't want to talk about them. We won't. But when you've looked at the productions and theatre overseas, internationally, how does South Africa compare?
Look, we're from a very different part of the world to Europe. Where a lot of the festivals that perform at are in Europe. There are some international productions there. I think we've got a lot to aspire to. I think we've got a lot of work to do also. I think the more artists get out and see other works, and the more access we have to international works, the more in touch with international currents we'll be. And I think that's really important to keep ourselves alive. Otherwise, we can atrophy.
Brett, just briefly as we end, one word to the people out there, if there's something they shouldn't miss this year, what would it be in your opinion?
I think the Grahamstown Festival.
That's a good answer. Okay. You can't miss the Grahamstown Festival. It runs for 10 days from here on out, so make a plan to get here, whether it's a day trip or you're going to stay for a couple of days. There's always somewhere to stay. It's going to be freezing cold come Saturday and going forward, but it's not something you want to miss. Johannesburg.